Hello, my name is Stephen Albertson, and we're going to be going over the brain today. Looking at the dorsal surface, um, most anterior are the frontal lobes, a left and right frontal lobe. Heading back posteriorly is the parietal, the left and the right parietal lobe. Looking at the brain from behind, from a posterior view, is the occipital left and right lobe, and a lateral view allows us to see the temporal lobes, and there's a left and a right temporal lobe. Once again, looking at the dorsal surface, what is recognizable is the gyrus, which are the folds, and the sulcus, which is right in there, or the sulci, right there. Okay, also what's recognizable is the longitudinal fissure right down the middle of the brain, sagittally. And what that does is it separates the brain from the left and the right cerebral hemispheres. Okay. Also on the side, a sulcus that is recognizable is the lateral sulcus. The lateral sulcus right there. And what that does is it separates the temporal lobe from the parietal and the frontal lobe. Okay. Looking at it from the back, right here is the cerebellum. From a ventral point of view, might be easier to see the pons and the medulla oblongata. Okay, sticking with the ventral surface, most anterior is the olfactory bulbs. Heading posteriorly is the olfactory tract, right there. Right here is the optic nerve. The optic nerves are held together. Right there in the middle is by the optic chiasm. Okay. Down here, anterior to the cerebellum, are the cerebral peduncles, right in there. And almost right in the middle, right there, is the pituitary gland. Try to point out some of the nerves. Anterior to the cerebellum, right there, is the trigeminal nerve. Anterior to that is the oculomotor, trigeminal and abducens nerves in there. Okay. Trying to take a look at the midbrain. Split that open. Inside there, right at the top, is the pineal gland. And inside there is the corpora quadragemina, right in there. And there is a superior part and an inferior part of that. And there's also branched into left and right. The left and right superior coloculi at the top, right there, and an inferior left and right coloculi. Cutting the brain in half so we can have a mid-sagittal section of it. We can point out some other things. On top, right here, is the cerebrum. In the middle, right there, is the corpus callosum. A part of the corpus callosum is the fornix, right there. The fourth ventricle is right here. towards the cerebellum, just anterior. The intermediate mass of the thalamus is almost directly in the middle of the thalamus. The cerebral peduncles are just anterior to the cerebellum, right in here. The pons, just inferior to the cerebellum. The medulla oblongata is just posterior to the pons. The lateral ventricle is right there, right next to the corpus callosum. The corpora quadramina is right here. In the cerebellum, there is a bunch of white matter that branches out that looks like a tree. And you can see that better. Inside, the white matter. And that is arbor vitae, and it brings sensory and motor info to the cerebellum. The pineal gland is right there. And that is about it for the brain. Thank you.